All right, so as you guys can see here, I got a lot going on kind of behind me, but I'm doing a vlog for this upcoming tournament. I'm actually adding something new to it. I'm going to do a before tournament vlog and talk to you guys a little bit about what my plan is going into it. Obviously, as you know, when it comes to fishing, that plan probably means about nothing, but I like to at least have a game plan going into it and then be able to adjust that day. So this is the vlog for James River BFL Regional Tournament for the Shenandoah Division. So this is the final stop of the Shenandoah Division this year, the regional tournament, which is on James River. James River is about 50 minutes from my house. I fished it now in a regional before this exact same time of year, 2 years ago. So did this exact same deal 2 years ago. That's my very first year that I tried to compete in these tournaments, like fishing a whole trail and getting to the region, all that. Literally was 2 years ago. My first time doing it. Here we are again 2 years later, back on the same body of water, same time of year, trying to do the same thing. So excited to see what this is going to bring. The James River last time I had, I think, 12 pounds 15 ounces out of the back of the boat, and over 2 days of fishing, and I was in 44th place. They only paid 24 spots at that time. I was in 44th place, 20 spots out of the money with 12 pounds 15 ounces over 2 days of fishing. So it was a very good day of fishing for me. Actually, James River for me was the first tournament that I could participate in, like BFL style, out of the back of the boat. It was the first time I ever caught a limit in a tournament. So I caught 4 fish on day 1. Really needed fish number 5 on day 1. Didn't get it. Number 4 came kind of late too. So finally got dialed in on something a little bit late on day 1. Day 2, I had 5 fish and was calling multiple times. So it was pretty good on the James River. Fishing was going really well. I got a pretty decent bite. I really just needed, another big bite out of one of them James River Giants. So we're going back again. I'm going to throw kind of similar things because, again, we were out there before the same year doing the exact same thing. But I think this year is going to need to be a little bit of tweak because we've had some very, very interesting weather this year. Fishing's been a little bit different and, a little bit different, but kind of still similar. If you know what's going on, you know what's going on. You know what I mean? So James River. So what I'm doing now, as you guys can see, I have all these rods here, and I got 5 more over there. Basically, what I've done now is I've taken every rod, every reel, everything apart, cleaned up everything, and then what I'm going to do is pair up everything the way I think it needs to be paired up going forward. So I've run the same setup of rods and reels all season long, and I feel like I need to make some modifications to it. So I'm going to take that time, sit down and take that time, do it right now. And that way, going into next year, the season, I'm gonna fish this tournament. I think I got one more after it or something like that, just some local deal, maybe. And then I'm just going to just kind of, I'm gonna have it stacked up nice and neat, and just kind of put this stuff away, man. Just go to work, get this money, and then I'll be ready to go come next year. Basically, I spent this whole year in the last 2 years kind of dialing in what I think works on different bodies of water, what I want to throw, what colors work, that kind of thing. So next year when I run this deal, I got an idea of what I want to do, right? Like I can tell you right now what I want to do on Kerr and Smith Mountain Lake in March and April. I can tell you exactly right now what I want to do, like right now. And Potomac, James River. I think the regional next year is actually going to be in Lake Norman if I get to go there. So Lake Norman for the regional next year. And then the Bassmaster Open, it's 2 of them are in places I've never even seen. So St. Lawrence and Watts Bar. So it's going to get really interesting for that. But for this one, James River vlog, what I think is going to be happening, it's fall fishing in full effect. Fall fishing. So I think we're in a little span here the next couple of weeks. It's actually going to be fishing really well. Like everywhere is going to be fishing really well. But the bite just seems to be slow, and it's slow like in the morning, and then as you get toward the afternoon, it's like lights out. The difference with that being fishing a tidal system, it's the lights out part is going to be obviously when the tide clicks on and when those fish are like, all right, it's time for me to go to work. That's going to be the lights out portion in this one, but that's what I plan to do. I'm going to get out there. I'll take right now a couple things I plan on throwing. I'm going to throw a chatterbait. I'm going to throw a spinnerbait. I'm gonna throw a shaky head. I'm gonna throw a drop shot. I might break out a frog or a buzz bait, and depends on where we go. Definitely 100% I'm throwing a crankbait, and I think that's it. Let me do the math again. Shaky head, drop shot, crankbait, like some kind of top water, chatterbait, spinnerbait. That's it. I think I'm gonna bring 6 rods, max 7. I don't want to bring 7. I want to narrow it down to 6. I'm sorry. I'm forgetting the big one. I'm going to throw a Texas rig. Texas rig creature bait. I'm probably going to throw the snot out of that thing all daggone day. But Texas rig creature bait will be the 7. And that's about it. My main thing for this tournament going into it is just color. So every bait that I just mentioned is going to be a different color because I want to have the spectrum of colors covered that I've known that fish will eat. And then once I start getting bit consistently on something, then I'm going to just dial in on that color. So obviously in the mornings, I'm going to start with like the white and chartreuses, the all white, stuff like that, maybe even black buzz bait, something like that. I'll probably start my day with. And then as the day kind of picks up, get to flipping around that creature bait, flipping around that shaky head, throwing that drop shot, stuff like that. Shaky head around cypress trees, spinner bait, chatter bait, that kind of thing. Just kind of, like I said, switching colors, making sure I'm trying to get something down. And if I get a color dialed, then once I get the color dialed, then that's I'm gonna hammer home that color. Because once I did that last year, 2 years ago, I got late in the day on day 1, I got a color dialed and 2 baits dialed, a Texas rig and a little like swim bait. Got those 2 dialed, and oh man, I couldn't keep the fish off of it, but it was too late. Day 2, I got keyed in on 2 baits. I think I threw a chatterbait and a shaky head all day. Chatterbait and shaky head, because I wasn't really big on throwing spinner baits at that time. I threw them, but I wasn't really big on throwing them. Not like I was last year, like 1 year ago. 2 years ago, not so much. 1 year ago, I threw the snot out of a spinner bait. But this year, I was throwing a chatterbait. 2 years ago, I was throwing a chatterbait on James River and a shaky head. And those 2 baits, I pretty much just put those 2 up. That's all I had, really, was those 2. Every once in a while, I throw something else, but that shaky head, pitching that sucker out, trying to hit certain parts of the tree, and then running that chatterbait up high. That was it. Literally, that's all I had to do. And like I said, I couldn't keep them fish off of it. It was insane. I had such a good time out at the James River. That's why I'm back at the James River. Regionals on the James River, I love, man. Fall fishing is probably one of my favorite times of year to fish. Summer fishing, I just assume throw all my tackle in the river and let it go. Because summer fishing has been doing nothing but kicking your butt. You'll catch like one really good fish, and other than that, man, it's been brutal. But fall fishing, I love. Spring fishing, not so much as a co-angler because a lot of times you're in a tournament with somebody who's up shallow, fishing for fish they can see, and as a co-angler you're just kind of in the back eating sandwiches. Like you're really, it just drives you insane because you're like, I'd love to pitch up there at that fish, but typically you got a boater who wants everything quiet. He's trying to make 97 pitches at something. It's so frustrating to fish in the springtime. It's fun in your boat to fish in the springtime because you can catch an 8-9 pounder, 7 pounder, 6 pounder. You can catch piggies like giants at that time, but out of the back of the boat it is so stressful fishing out the back of the boat because it's so much that goes into it, and you don't want to pitch too close, and you don't want to pitch, and then but the fish is right there, you can see, and the boater can't catch, but you got a bed fishing bait that works, and you get yours and just need one pitch at it, and it's just, and then the thing is too, they'll fish for a fish, and if they don't catch it, you think in your brain they're probably going to come back to it, especially if it's a really big one. They might come back to it. Spend like 40 minutes, you hope and wish the whole time, then they come back to it. So that's kind of frustrating, but either way, if you sign up for it, you know what you're getting into, so you can't really complain about it because you know what you're getting into. So if I'm a fish in the spring as a co-angler, I know what I'm getting into. I just got to make it work, right? But I'm telling you, there are some things that aren't ideal. Let's put it that way. So for James River this year, my plan, I will throw that chatterbait again. I'm going to throw a spinnerbait, shaky head, like I said, drop shot, stuff like that. That's pretty much what I'm going to throw. The thing is, this is a regional, and you're trying to qualify All-American. I'd love to get a limit both days. I'd love to get 3 to 5 fish both days. I'd love to be in the top 40, right? Because that's typically where you're going to get paid, is top 40. But this deal, I'm going for a top 6. Like you guys know, all year long, I've been trying to get to the All-American. The only way you get to the All-American is fishing in the top 6. Only way you can get to the top 6 is if you catch the right size and the right quality of fish. So catching 5 pound and a quarters on a shaky head ain't gonna get you to the All-American, man. I'm sorry. It might in some tournaments if you get 5, right? Like if you're the one that gets 5. But on the James River, like I said, those fish chew. I have 12 pounds, 15 ounces, and I didn't even crack the top 40. I cannot bring a couple of pound and a quarter fish. I gotta swing. So I'm gonna have some baits on to swing, which is gonna be that spinner bait and chatterbait. Typically gets me a really big bite. And then I'm gonna have something to fill out the limit, because nothing will burn you up more than getting 4 quality and then don't get that limit because you kept throwing that spinner bait when you could have just switched up to a little 8-ounce shaky head, picked up a pound and a quarter, add that to your other 3 pounders, and had a really good day. So that's the plan, to make sure I have something that can fill out the limit, but also something that can get me the big bite. So like I said, I'm gonna try a different video this time. I'm gonna rig up, talk to you guys a little bit about my plan going into what I'm thinking I'm gonna end up doing, and then I'm gonna do a vlog at the tournament, and then I'll do a post recap kind of deal after the tournament. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Tune into the next one. Peace.